to everybody who make the time to come. Indeed, it's not easy for a weekday afternoon to buy time to come. I really appreciate everybody's time here. Yes. Just to introduce myself a little bit, I'm Susan, Susan Chok from Singapore. So first of all, I'd like to thank Netflix company for its excellent product that actually brought health to myself and my family, and also to the people around me. And also to thank Zhensang and Success team for training me to learn how to do network marketing from scratch. Yeah. So also to thank my introducer, Susan AGM, Yvonne Yap AGM. They were my ex-colleagues who actually shared with me about this product. So I attempted to try because of my children's guidance issue. Then also to thank my mentors with CAGM, ECNet, for encouraging me all the years when I came out from my corporate job to start to learn how to do this now. So indeed is very interesting, negative ion. And initially when I was about say 13 years ago when I started to join as a member, I did ask where are the clinicals? Because I was a pharmaceutical sales rep. So my core job is to detail clinical papers to doctors and nurses every day, 8 clinics per day. So evidence-based medicine is very important to us. There must be evidence, not just talk. Yeah. So 13 years ago, there wasn't published any clinical paper. Yeah, but with simple trust, I tried. And to my surprise, with observation, there is some differences, but I couldn't tell why. Because myself, I studied biotech and thereafter molecular genetics. So I was very trained or schooled in the direction of chem and bio. Yeah. Then later on, years later, when my mom had her 4th episode of lump in the left remnant breast, she's a cancer fighter all the years. Since I was 20, she was 51, and she had first breast cancer episode. So that time, she operated half the left breast, chemo and radiation, and it was considered stage 2. So then 6 years later, in between we tried different supplements, but it's on and off thing. So then 6 years later, it happened on the other breast. So this time she didn't want radiation, so she removed the whole breast. Unfortunately, didn't go into the lymph node, so no chemotherapy needed, but was on a 5 years hormone drug, which also drains her. So then 9 years later, in 2009, it went into her. There was a colon growth at 0 stage, so she operated one section and didn't need no chemotherapy because considered 0 stage. So then another 6 years was for 2015 when one more lump grew in the remnant left breast. Then the doctor said to monitor 6 months later. So then we were thinking, if let's say there's no procedure done, 6 months later, wouldn't it be a bigger issue to tackle? Because cells grow, you see. Yeah. So then I consulted with CAGM. That time I was a very simple NAFU user, just a very simple clothing for small things for my family. So she said increase density because cancer patients, they need more density. So with a trust and so I added my mom's items, added blanket, added layering of clothes, wear at least 2 layers, then increased breast pads and waistband rotation. Then 6 months later, to my surprise, when we went back to the general hospital and scanned, the lump actually couldn't be found. So that's actually what sparked me to investigate more. What is the reason? I didn't go back to her to ask because I wanted to find out for myself. I want to convince myself. I can be a very simple user because my mom is a cancer patient, my children have sensitive issues. But what exactly is the basis? So when I read the book, Where and Ions, it actually explains very explicitly the aspect. So this I will cover also later. Then I realized it's actually more physics than chemistry. Then thereafter, I started to share and started to help the colleagues around me, the nurses that are around me. And I decided to give a leap of faith. I went to Taiwan to make a trip to observe what the global nebulous were doing. So after that, I came back. I decided to quit my job and try out for at least 6 months. Because if let's say for me that time my work was very busy, I couldn't part-time. I totally couldn't part-time. Yeah, not enough time. My children were very young, still a lot of standing. So I decided to try out at least 6 months. So I was self-employed before that employment before. So I had the confidence that it can make out somewhere. So what Chinese say, so to speak. Yeah. So I tried, So I give myself 6 months. If really can't, then find another job. So I did the same thing like what I was doing and the full-time job, very hardworking, service all my clients usually within the day on request. So thereafter started to have more and more users and referrals. Yeah, of course, I still do my first contact with people. So today I'll cover a little bit on this round. I'm covering a little bit on biochemistry, the biochemistry aspect of negative ions. There will be some physics aspects also. So you will see it's quite interesting. Our body is made up of many reactions. And when you see everything, the whole orchestra come into play, then you realize health really works holistically as an orchestra. And how can we approach it? Yeah. So today I'm covering on electrons. Okay. If like some of the talks that probably have attended, you realize there are electrons that go around the atoms, and then everything, all matter, be it live cells, matter, plastics, or water, whatever, they are all made up from atoms, and atoms all have electrons going around it. So if you do not have electrons, the cells cannot hold together. So every structure in your body, from organs to bones, relies on this structure. And electrons, they are essential for chemical reactions that allow your body to function. Our body got many chemical reactions that happen all the time, like digestion, detoxification, that means removal of toxins, and it involves the exchange of electrons, like from energy creation to nutrient absorption. All these need electrons. Yeah. So today cover a bit more on ATP, adenosine triphosphate. So ATP is actually our energy. When we do work, we are actually using ATP that is inside our body to do work. Okay. So electrons are essential in the production of ATP to produce energy. Energy not only for exercise, energy for all your digestion, your metabolism, just your normal functioning needs energy to go on. Our breathing also, our pushing of blood through the system, all these need energy for. Just for life to sustain alone, we need energy. So this energy is in the form of ATP. We need to produce energy, then our life can go on. So like thinking, moving, healing, etc. Everything, just a basic metabolism. So this is a clinical paper on how electrons impact health and disease. Just to highlight a little bit simple things on what electrons do, they drive cellular respiration, means our cell metabolism. They power your metabolic pathway, your metabolism. Okay. They facilitate neural signaling. Neural means your nerve cells. Your nerve cells from your brain telling your hand to pick up something and then send back the signal. So this nerve connection needs electrons. They remain redox balance. This one I'll cover later. Also, redox is a chemistry term. It's reduction and oxidation. So our reduction and oxidation needs to maintain a balance. If not balanced, it will be oxidative stress. Okay, so they are needed for sustaining health. Okay, so oxidative stress can lead to what? Means too high oxidation can lead to cancer. Cardiovascular disorder means heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, hypertension, all these cardiovascular disease. Neurodegenerative condition means our nerves start to degenerate. Parkinson, dementia, etc. Or yeah, it's got to do with the nervous system. Okay, so the pivotal role, the very important role of electrons in health and disease has a lot of tables and charts actually. If you do more reading up, there's a lot of information on how electrons are essential for life. So as Nobel Prize winner, this is a very famous Nobel Prize winner from Hungary, Albert Georgi. He said that life is nothing but an electron looking for a place to rest. So this process happens all the time to sustain life. Okay, so modern medicine is starting to appreciate how we need electrons in our body. Okay, so we cover a little bit about how electrons function in the body, like the energy metabolism, nerve transmission, antioxidant protection against cellular damage, immune system, and also helps to fight against pathogen. Pathogen is like bacteria, viruses that attack your body. Then detox process. We know liver detoxes, kidneys remove the waste. DNA repair to prevent genetic mutation. This is very important because when there is genetic mutation and your cell cannot repair, it becomes a cancer cell. So if you can repair this as much as possible, you slow down cancer growth. You don't let it grow or progress so fast, or you don't let so many cancer cells form. Okay. So if let's say you don't have a flow of electrons entering your body constant and well regulated, even the physiological function, the very basic one would cease. Physiological function is just our simple metabolism, our being alive. Okay, so that's why electron balance is very essential for survival. I'll cover bit by bit. The first part about energy metabolism. This one we talk about cellular respiration. Cellular respiration means you produces energy from your mitochondria. Mitochondria is a part in your cells where it generates the ATP for energy. Okay, so for energy production, these are some biochemistry pathway. Okay, we don't really need to remember this. We just need to know the three most essential biochem pathway like glycolysis, Krebs cycle, oxidative phosphorylation. They are all something to do with electron. First one, they harvest, they capture electron. Second one, they move the electron, transport them to energy production, like horse carriage, like that, carry the electron. Okay. The third one is transferring electron through protein into the mitochondria. Okay, then from there they release energy and then pump proton across the membrane. So they produces your ATP. ATP is just now what we mentioned, is the energy needed for our cells to function. So for energy to be produced, just to maintain life itself, we need electrons. Okay, then what about nerve transmission? How does electron help? Okay, electron enable the electrical signal, okay, in the nervous system. Neurons are the nerve cells. They use this movement of electrons to generate electrical impulses, so thereby allowing your brain to tell your muscle, tell your organ, tell your body parts what to do. Okay, tell your muscles to contract, pick up something, your organs to secrete enzymes, secrete hormones for the digestion, or the time to rest, and even reflexes. Okay, hot must pull back your hand. These are reflexes. Something painful, pull back your leg, or complex thoughts. thinking. All these needs electrons. Our nerve cells actually are connected by electrical waves. Okay, then we talk about another point on antioxidant. How does it protect us? So electrons will help us to defend against free radical. Free radical are positive ions. Free radicals are like this picture. They are not balanced. Later got a video. They are not balanced. They only have one electron on the ring outside, but they miss out one. So being unbalanced, they actually grab an electron from a healthy atom, something, probably a healthy cell in your body. So when they grab an electron, then these will become unbalanced, and then they will grab another electron from another healthy cell. So when you supply antioxidants that has one extra electron, they will give it to this positive ion or free radical to fill up. Then they are not hungry. Then they are balanced. Then they don't steal electron. Okay. So when we have a lot of free radicals, they will damage our cells, and this will cause aging, premature aging also, or just general aging, and disease. So when we give electrons from antioxidant, they will neutralize the free radical, so thereby reducing the damage on healthy cells. So long term, it will be healthier. Okay, then what about immune system? Immune system is also very interesting. It's a whole very, very complicated, more complicated than an orchestra performance. They inter-regulate, inter-control, inter-supply, and support each other. Okay, so it helps to maintain oxidation and reduction balance. We call this the redox balance. Electrons will help to maintain this balance. And if let's say there is a disruption, it means not enough electron supply, then it will be over oxidation. It means we call it oxidative stress. Okay, so this will produce a lot of reactive oxygen species, ROS. So they will start to steal electrons from other cells. Okay, so this actually oxidative stress will onset or progress various diseases like cancer, cardiovascular, that means heart diseases, vessel disease, neurodegenerative, and IH. Okay, then talk about liver and kidney. Okay, these are also our very essential and silent organs in our body. They do the work all the time. Okay, so all the cells will depend on electron transfer. If let's say the mitochondria or the powerhouse in your cells are not functioning well, that means they do not have enough electrons to do their work, then they will link to over 80% of chronic diseases, which is very, very common in Singapore. So, and this oxidative stress, just as we mentioned, aging, disease will progress faster. So we know liver is critical for detox. They store vitamins, and it's very, very susceptible to oxidation. So when the liver is having oxidative stress, the liver structure will have scarring called fibrosis. The body will deposit a lot of collagen on it to protect it because of oxidative stress. And this liver becomes scarred, hardened. Cirrhosis is hardening. So when it's very, very scarred, it becomes very hardened. Very hardened means it cannot do its work properly really, because it cannot secrete the enzymes. The structure becomes hardened. It cannot secrete the enzymes, the hormones. And finally, this is referring to liver cancer, carcinoma. Okay, so with cirrhosis will lead to cancer. So this is liver. So you see how the back end, it all started with shortage of electrons. Yeah. Then for kidney disease, okay, it says kidney is connected to the body's ability to maintain proper electrical and chemical equilibrium. So when not enough electrons, the kidney also starts to generate. Just want to talk about DNA repair. If we have good repair mechanism, we can in a way prevent cancer. And okay, so electrons will facilitate, enough electrons will facilitate electron transfer. How does it repair? Okay, DNA we know is made up of different bases. There are 4 types of bases: A, T, G, C. the short form, four type of bases. So sometimes the base can slot wrongly. Base modification, okay? So they can repair and swap back the correct one. Strand breaks. We know DNA is 2 strands, right? Sometimes it can break. The DNA can break. So when there's a strand break, how do they join it back? So this is all repair, okay? And cross-link. DNA, 2 strands, but cross-link, 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 cross-link. So the cross-link can also be structurally not intact. So then how do you repair this cross-link? You need electrons to do all this. Not enough electrons, the repair cannot continue. You just have a broken or damaged DNA floating in the cells. Yeah. So then it says enzymes will recognize and remove the damaged DNA when there is an electron transfer. Then you can make a new DNA to replace the damaged DNA. Okay. Then they will also ensure genetic information correctly maintained. The cell function is preserved. Yeah, genetic diseases, how they are transmitted, etc., and whether our cells make new cells, and new cells need a new set of DNA. We have 23 sets of chromosomes inside its many DNA strands. Yeah. So all this is maintained when the replication or the production of new DNA is actually maintained when you have enough electrons. Then however, our modern life involves a lot of electron loss. Yeah. For example, free radicals, how do they form? Under UV, our normal metabolism already forms a lot of free radicals. Smoking, inflammation, that means when you have pain. Yeah. Air pollution and ionizing radiation, Wi-Fi, etc. X-ray, all this. We generate a lot of free radicals that contribute to DNA damage. So when cells have DNA damage, they lose their original function. That means originally this cell is supposed to secrete this enzyme. Then after that, my DNA got damaged. So I forgot actually what I'm supposed to do. Then I only eat nutrient and divide, eat nutrient and divide, eat nutrient and divide. What is this? Anybody? What is this? When you eat nutrient and divide and you don't have any function, you'll be a cancer cell. Then when this cancer cell is formed, you keep dividing and dividing. From small isolated cancer cells, you become a lump, and your lump just keep dividing and become a big lump. Then it takes over your organ where it's lodged in. Then your organ loses its function because it keeps eating up all the whole tissue. So that's how cancer actually progresses. It all starts with DNA damage. So when electron flow goes wrong, how does it lead to chronic disease? Okay, when the cell not able to produce enough ATP, electron flow is disrupted. They will actually start to have energy deficit. Not enough energy for the organs to work well. The organ will actually overwork or dysfunction. Okay, that means loses its function. Then finally, with prolonged overworking or dysfunction, it starts to have disease. Yeah, this is usually organ failure or cancer. Okay, so common cause of electron chain dysfunction like mitochondrial DNA mutation, environment toxin. This one we know we have a lot environment toxin today, a lot. Yeah, all the fragrances, colors, dyes and all this. Nutrient deficiency. Okay, now we have all sorts of dieting plan. Sometimes we also never look to whether we are eating enough nutrients. Yeah. Then oxidative stress, age-related, deterioration of mitochondria or chronic inflammation, constant pain. So this as this website mentioned, is particularly relevant for kidney health because kidneys are the most energy demanding organs. So when they need a lot of energy, but you're not supplying enough electrons to make the ATP, then the organs will start to fail. So electron donors. So we need electron donors so that they can serve as antioxidant in our body so as to reduce the oxidative stress. Okay, so the process of donating electron to free radical is part of a redox reaction. This will neutralize the harmful molecules. Inflammation control, when you neutralize the positive charge radicals that drive inflammation, this electron will help them become, will resolve the chronic inflammation because it becomes less inflamed. Your cells become less inflamed when you have enough electrons. Then electrons also serve as the currency, like the dollar, the coins, okay, that the body use for energy production and cellular repair. So electrons actually prevent, reduce oxidation by acting as the primary source of neutralization for free radical or the positive ions. So this will break the chain that leads to tissue and the DNA damage. So you need to keep supplying enough electrons. The video we see for just a short portion of it. Let me play. Okay, the video thing couldn't open. It's supposed to be on how when you are short of one electron, the whole atom moves in a very unbalanced disk, and then thus they are stealing electrons from cells, and therefore by donating electrons, they actually create a stability. Okay, so health indeed isn't just a goal, it's actually a daily mode of living. And we know that WHO has guidelines on sufficient sleep, balanced diet, moderate exercise, and positive mindset. So indeed, for urban people, it's not easy to achieve a balance within these four. And all of us, as mentioned, we are subject to oxidative damage like aging, fruits turn bad, iron nails turn rusty. Our skin also develop pigmentation and wrinkles. Our cell metabolism inside also undergo this oxidation. So if let's say you want to supply electrons, then actually anions or negative ions are actually the electron donors. So they will be like vitamins that nourish the body and enrich the air we breathe and promote better health. And negative ions are abundant in waterfalls, forests, whereas in urban society, the air quality is actually surrounded by positive. According to Hokkaido University Honorary Professor Dr. Yugo Akishi, he also mentioned that positive ions are bad for us and negative ions are good for us. Positive ions create oxidation, or just now we mentioned the free radicals, they promote oxidation, corruption, and damages animal and plant health. So this is how we can see oxidation is this process. Whereas negative ions that supply electrons, they build up, repair, and they promote healthy growth in plants and animals, including humans. So when we have enough supply of anions as electron donors to our body, they actually clean up our blood system by increasing the oxygen capacity of the red cells by dispersing them, because they neutralize the positive ions that are attached to the cells, and thus dispersing them, neutralize. They actually have more surface area exposure to the environment. We can think of it simply as fish in a clean fish pond compared to fish in a dirty fish pond. Dirty water makes the cells unable to breathe or exchange nutrient and toxins. So they also activate your macrophage. Actually, not only macrophage. Macrophage is our immune cells that swallow or gobble up bacteria, virus, and also cancer cells. But we also have other immune cells like natural killer cells and many other lymphocytes. So together, when the immune cells are more active, your blood becomes cleaner. Second benefit is that it will also help to repair or rejuvenate your cell functions. You know, cells all have a DNA inside. So when the cells are cleaned up, they actually recover their original identity. It means they recall what I'm supposed to do, though I was not doing or lazy for a long time, but they recall what they are supposed to do and do back that work because it's all encoded in their DNA. So they will discharge waste better, they will have better cell metabolism, they function better, they absorb nutrients better, and speed up the recovery from injury or operation. Whereas unhealthy cells, the membrane will be very blocked and rigid, so toxin cannot really leave the cell, a lot stay inside. Nutrient cannot really enter the cell, even if you take very good nutrient or supplements, actually not fully absorbed. Third function is it will strengthen your immune function. So immune function, there are many parts of our immune system. Our lymph nodes, our breathing system. So it also, our skin also is our first primary layer against the external environment. So it will help to strengthen skin regeneration. So you will see skin becomes better, scarring, all these or injuries heal faster. Cilia are the tiny structure that actually lines our intestines, our nose, etc., our breathing, or even our lungs. So cilia will actually sweep faster. So they will sweep away unwanted things, probably like in the lungs, they will surround with phlegm and then you spit it out. So you actually recover when you spit out by this binding movement done by the cilia and improve your immune cell function. Autonomic nerve is actually part of our nervous system where it functions on its own. 90% is actually autonomic, 10% is controlled. So 90% is done on its own, which we call auto. So this autonomic has two wings, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. The parasympathetic is for the night relaxed nerves, where it helps you to relax your mind, promote deep rest, and also stabilize your appetite. Yeah. So when your autonomic nerve is not overly excited or overly put to rest, it can actually function better. And very interestingly, if you just look at the nervous system, the brain connects to the whole spinal cord. Each spine segment has nerves leading to your organs. So how much your gut is moving, how much your liver is secreting, your kidneys are filtering, your heart is pumping, your lungs are breathing, they are all linked to the nervous system. And this whole nervous system is powered by electrons. Yeah, that's why we can get electrocuted. We can do acupuncture and then we can run the current. So for respiratory system, when how they benefit, the lungs can inhale more oxygen, exhale more carbon dioxide. So your cells actually have more oxygen to function. Then your cardiovascular system will actually have a reduced blood pressure. And this one we'll see the clinical paper in a while. Yeah. So it will improve cardiac muscle function, nutrition, and also dilation. Means the vessel can relax and open up better. And the skin temperature will also rise, become better. So circulation becomes better. For nervous system, it will give you energy when you have enough electrons or negative ions. They also promote better sleep and also relieve or bring down pain and tension. For immune system, it improves your reflexes. That means your cells can react faster when there is foreign thing, and blood and lymph vessel function, and also enhance the body anti-disease ability. Lymph vessels, lymph is more on the immune system, lymphatic system, or carry the waste away. So for metabolism, it will reduce your blood sugar, reduce your cholesterol. So your metabolism becomes better, you can clear better. Then increase your blood calcium. We know blood calcium is very important for many nutrients to enter the cells and to leave the cells. So they serve as a gateway on your cell membrane. Also helps in uric waste removal and accelerate your bone growth. For blood formation, it will increase the number of white cells and red cells, platelet, and also better blood formation time. They form better. So if let's say you have enough electrons, your blood cells will have more red cells, red count. Okay, this is a clinical trial that just now we say we will cover on the cardiovascular health. So this trial started because a lot of people in hospital, the nurses, they will think that if we wear compression socks, then it will be beneficial for foot health because they do a lot of standing, walking. So a lot of them develop varicose vein through the years. So, so this is a study on 50 nurses in Taiwan, investigating on nurses' foot health, perception, behavior, and analysis of cardiovascular effect of different type of upholstery or different type of socks. So to check on 2 types of socks. Okay, so this is the previous perception that compression socks to prevent varicose vein. However, they realized among young nurses, this varicose vein is not so prevalent because as they become senior, they become more inbound, desk bound, yeah, because they do more management duties. So the nurses also seem to experience allergic reactions, tightness, and discomfort when they wear elastic stockings for a long time. And there was also study results to show how elastic stockings can increase the workload on the heart. So they were comparing compression sock versus NEFU functional socks. So this is with 50 female nurses in a hospital. They are healthy nurses in ICU emergency operating group, and they were all healthy nurses fulfilling all this data. So NEFU functional socks appear to help in artery health. NEFU socks are also less uncomfortable to the body than compression socks. And varicose vein being rare for young nurses, probably they can also consider wearing NEFU functional socks. This compression sock is a bit more uncomfortable. So this is the research inference. Okay, this is the part on the artery. Artery are the vessels from the heart bringing oxygen to all parts of the body. So as they give out the oxygen, carbon dioxide will enter the vessels, and then they will take the vessels or the veins in blue will carry the carbon dioxide back to the lungs to be exhaled out. So these are the veins carrying the deoxygenated blood. It means not no oxygen blood, where the artery brings the oxygen-rich blood. Okay, so study shows improvement on artery health. It says, we know in blood pressure, we have this 120/80. The top number, we call it the systole. The bottom number, we call it the diastole. So so when you wear compression socks, the data shows it actually decreased diastole. Diastole is a period where the heart relaxes and fills with blood. So your heart got the pump, and then you got to relax, right? Then you fill it with blood, and then you pump again. So when you wear compression socks, it decrease this heart relaxation phase. So then it will also reduce this artery perfusion. That means you will actually inject blood to the arteries for it to bring all over the body. So this also is reduced. Okay, so therefore it is to reduce transport of blood to tissue. So in the long run, you have less. When if you wear compression socks, habitually done every day. Whereas functional socks, they will decrease systole, which is the top figure, the 120. So what is systole? It's the heart contraction and pump blood out. So when this heart contraction is actually less contraction, the heart can pump blood out. So that's why you actually have a lower blood pressure. And vessel endothelial cells will also become better because when you don't pump it so hard, your vessels don't get contract so hard. So your vessel inner lining will be smoother and healthier. So when it's smoother and healthier, less perforation, less deposit. The more bends, more easy to deposit things along the way. Okay, then the other one on the other marker or parameter is to check on cardiac oxygen. So compression socks extend the left ventricle ejection time. That means the heart is the left part of the heart that is supposed to pump the blood out. The period of time is longer. That means it stays contracted longer. So therefore, you will need to use up more oxygen. Okay, and with this heart being pumped longer, it will lead to dilatation. Dilatation means the heart becomes enlarged, stretched, and thin. So when you pump harder, your muscle will get actually more stretched. More stretch means the muscle will become thin. Thin, then the whole thing will become loose. Loose already, you have a bigger cavity to pump. The heart got to pump even harder because it's a bigger space to pump out now. So this actually is what we call enlarged heart. And is frequently related to hypertension. So functional socks, they will actually decrease cardiac oxygen consumption. That means they don't use so much oxygen in the pumping when you wear functional socks. And therefore, it decreases the strength of cardiac contraction. You don't have to squeeze so hard. And it's long-run protection to the heart. So this dilatation will actually all relate to the diameter of this ventricle. The heart becomes bigger. So it becomes cardiac distress. Okay, then the study shown on reduction of systolic pressure, just on the top figure on blood pressure, systolic pressure. So compression socks will decrease diastole value or increase the afterload. The diastole is the lower figure. That means it increases the afterload, the resistance the heart has to overcome to eject blood out. So there is more resistance that the heart has to overcome to eject blood. So increased force resisting the ejection of the blood. So usually this is seen in chronic hypertension with an increased diastole and systole value. Then functional socks decrease systole value means it actually help in the functioning of the vascular endothelial cells. Endothelial means the lining, vessel lining, the cells lining the vessel. So it has a lower blood pressure. Conclusion. Maintaining good foot health requires regular attention from nurses, okay, as well as probably the whole organization, not to overwork, etc. So functional socks, compression socks are convenient, inexpensive, easily accessible device that can have positive health benefits during work that involve long periods of standing. So if nurses, they do not have varicose vein issue and they want to avoid the negative effects of compression socks, they can find that alternative forms of functional salts can contribute to artery and heart health. So if there is a proven way to give you anions wherever you go, do you think it will make a difference to your health? And if there is a technology to integrate anions into something that we use every day, like clothing, okay? Because just now we mentioned we need large electron supply all the time, just for cellular respiration, just to keep the body functioning, not even to do exercise. So with all the ATP needed, then we need a large supply of anion. And clothing is something that as humans we all wear. We all wear every day, all the time. No matter which nationality or background, we all wear clothes. So this is the one and only supply of anions with the unique neuron fiber structure. It's short of one electron, so it constantly grabs an electron from the surrounding. The function, how does it work? Triboelectric effect is the mechanism. Okay. What is triboelectric effect? It's a contact electrification. Means the materials, some materials become electrically charged after they contact another different material and separate. So this illustration is on this plastic orange tubing rubbed with a synthetic animal fur. Okay. Then after rubbing, they bring the plastic near the paper beads, and then some of it actually gets stuck onto the plastic tube. Because when you rub and then you separate, you are actually resulting in a charge difference between the two surfaces. So this attraction will leave paper beads off the table. This is called static charge. Yeah. So to have the right choice for the right effect, you need a combination of material. Our human skin actually is very positively charged, whereas synthetic material like plastic comb, they are negative charged. And neuron itself is also very negative charged. Oh, this is the video. All have seen the video before? Not all. So I play a short video. Everybody they are like to show you how more sample. So you will see that it's the neuron fiber. The value of this material for protein. We'll notice that there are long filaments of the filament when it's dropped. First, surface area to generate friction. This is what we call the fiber. So the longer the filament, the negative ion quantity that so this is a centimeter. So I will switch it on. And I will drill it and feed it against the blanket sample. So you will see that it actually carries a negative charge in kV, means thousands of volts. So it gives a constant negative wherever it is. So the figure will depend on the cleanliness of the fabric and also airflow and humidity factors. So when it's rubbed again, you will see that the reading goes up to multiple holes. So keeping the fabric clean will give higher reading. So that's why we keep our natural fabric clean. We wash it every day for clothing. So the cleaner it is, the higher. And next we have the ankle supported from metal. So it's also a constant negative. Drop against it goes higher. And we have the negative ion shock. It becomes higher when it's dropped against and friction is generated. Next we have a cotton tee. Yes, they will show a positive charge. Next, we have silk. That is more positive than cotton. This is understandable because we know on the material comparison chart, silk is more positive than cotton. So when we click on the negative ion blanket at night and cover with ourselves with the negative ion blanket, we are allowing high density negative ions to enter our body from front to back and back. So we allow our body to have high negative ion density in our body to promote cell repair, rejuvenation, and detox. So this will help to give good quality sleep at night and energize the body for the next day, protecting ourselves from external and internal damaging factors like air pollution, Wi-Fi radiation, metabolism. So whether you want to choose to positive ions that promote aging or negative ions that promote cell repair and rejuvenation. Okay, so just now we mentioned there is a fabric comparison chart. Cotton. So these are actually fabrics, they are rubbed and then they are measured, and the number with the charges actually arranged according to the numbers. So cotton is very positive, silk is more positive, wool is very positive. Yeah. So whereas you will see the synthetic fibers are on the negative, and neuron is whatever material that is rubbed against is always staying negative. It doesn't jump to positive. Yeah. So this is the manufacturer of neuron fiber by Beijing, 100 years of history. It shows how these negative ions are produced when it's rubbed against the skin. So this is simulating like a finger or the skin touching the fabric. So skin is positive charge, whereas the fabric is negative. So when they are rubbed, the surrounding air becomes electrified, forming an electric potential. And then they will release the electron into the air, and then they will bind with the oxygen molecules in the air and form negatively charged oxygen and anion. So just like we know everything, we must have rules to be effective because we want to wear it in a way that can show its effectiveness because it's not common clothes. So just like you eat antibiotic, you must fulfill the course. You cannot just skip days and then shorten it. So for negative ions to see its effectiveness, you need high density, means a customized full set that reaches 100,000 to 500,000 ions per cc of air. You need long duration, means 24 hours wearing, because just now we learned, right? You need it for cellular metabolism. Cellular metabolism happens all the time, not only during our sleep time. Okay, it's day and night if we are functioning. 7 days a week, 3 to 6 months is a cell metabolism cycle where old cells are replaced by new cells, muscle, bone, tissue, or single cells. They have a replacement period. So 3 to 6 months, we can do an overhaul. Then direct contact, if you breathe in negative ions by breathing, is absorption of 15%. But because skin is also our largest breathable organ, the absorption will end up 85%. Okay, so why must we have high density? This chart is interesting. It shows our urban environment, we are living in a very low negative ion content compared to previously, where probably our great-grandparents will stay in the woods, forest, kampong, they have a lot more negative ions. So our surrounding is oxidizing us very fast or providing a lot of free radicals. Why do we need to wear so long duration? Can I just wear for short periods of time, just the night? So long duration is to slow down oxidation in the body. Because as we age, you will see our negative ion in our body keeps decreasing and positive ion in our body keeps increasing. So if we are around this age, we are actually about 50-50, or depending on our age and stress factors also. Yeah. So towards as we grow older, we will have less and less. So we need actually a long-term stable supply of negative ion. And why direct contact? Direct contact helps to maximize the absorption, because this is a diagram to show for a negative ion generator, if that's producing 1 million per cc of negative ions, about 50 cm away, this gap, it will be oxidized in the air. So if you have negative ion as a curtain, it's too far actually, 50 cm. So it has to be direct contact on your skin, touching your skin, so that the negative ions can enter your bloodstream straight away rather than oxidized by the positive ions. Okay, so the one and only wearable anion clothing, this is our full set that is displayed in the showroom, where we have the bathing series, bedsheet blanket. We also have the sleepwear, the pajamas, undergarments, the supporters. We also have the outerwear and some accessories and full socks. This is standard 100 by OECO tax on fiber certification. So this is to ensure customer confidence and high product safety. We know that fabric today undergo a lot of different kind of color dyes and chemicals. So this is the test done to show it's 100 chemical free, 100 common chemicals found in any fabric, not one of it is found on NAFO fabric. So it shows there's no allergen, things that cause allergy, no carcinogen, nothing that can cause cancer, no pesticide, chlorinated organic compound, do not emit heavy metal during perspiration, free of formaldehyde, which is commonly used in fabric nowadays as anti-fouling agents, and do not irritate the skin. NAFO's company's history, it has a very long history. For a product that can last more than 50 years, there is value for its existence. There is value for you to examine. How come it can go through every 10-year one economy crisis and it still doesn't fall? Yeah, more than half a century old. 53 years since NAFO Japan 1973, Taiwan 1989, USA 2002, Hong Kong 2005, Malaysia 2006, Singapore 2010. Soho magazine also voted as one of the top 6 direct selling company in the world. Okay, the NAFO compensation plan is also simple, easy, and profitable for the talents to stay. Okay, so in Singapore, most of us all have a niche of industry or education on our own. But for people to stay and market NAFO, you need a plan that is workable, so that people will stay. So if you join as a member, you actually benefit $70 for a member kit with a product catalog, free sample of blanket and bedsheet and travel detergent. So for consultant, you start to benefit from member price. If you do a group, accumulate a group sales of 6925, you actually your product becomes cheaper. After you become a manager, you have a 10% bonus. And if you have 2M and 4 manager sets of volume, then you become an area manager with 25. So there's also partnership support in a family-like environment for you to have training online and offline. And this is our leadership class. After you become a manager, you can learn how the product works better by joining the leadership class. And there's also a learning journey in Taiwan that we can benefit from a global NAFO. So in summary, NAFO is a trusted global brand with 3 big awards. Fiber Award, Okochi Award is 1959. Onshi Invention Award is by Emperor Showa to recognize the contribution that the fiber can do to the human body is in 1960 by Emperor Showa. Then Chem Technology Award is 1961. So the fiber already exists more than 60 years. Yeah. Tested and proven product, Neuron, has a professional and cohesive Zensame success team. fair and profitable compensation plan. Good health and great life. Wish all to have